is the issue of pay and allowances, and let me just remind him the single most disastrous element of that was his government's decision when he was a cabinet member to get rid of the London housing allowance. We have put now an extra £3,300 per year onto those new recruits, those joining after 1994, and that is part of our investment. And that is why I say it is not good enough for him to attack us unless he is prepared to commit himself to the investment that we have. And let me remind him that he made a commitment in July that he would not match our spending, that it was unsustainable. So he may talk about police morale in London, but we are the government that is putting more money into the Met Police in London, and he would and is committed to taking that money back out again.
Mr. Speaker, he's prepared all these answers on the basis of certain facts. And they are not relevant to the questions that we are asking, because we are clearly not committed to take the money out again. And he could at least have read on in the quote when he quoted me, when I went on to say, however, will he also agree that to condemn every police officer in London or the country as racist would be prejudiced and wrong? Why didn't he read the rest of that? And amidst all, now that we know we can't believe his figures on crime, let me ask him whether these are right or wrong. Police numbers have fallen by 3,000 since he came to power. That's right. The number of constables has fallen from a peak in the spring of 1997. That's right. Voluntary resignations from the police force have gone up 60% under Labour. That's right. Crime has gone up 4% in England and Wales in the year to April. Violent crime up 16%. Robberies up 26%. Over 26,000 criminals have been released early. 1,000 crimes have been committed by those criminals. And instead of being tough on crime, he's been tough on the crime fighters instead.
Mr. Speaker, first of all, let me just remind you of one uncomfortable fact for the Conservative Party. In their 18 years of office, crime doubled. Actually, crime has fallen under this government, and according to the British Crime Survey, has fallen. Now, on police officers, well, of course, he is right. He is absolutely right in saying that in the first 3 years of this government, the police numbers have fallen. Now, the point is this. They fell when he was a member of the last cabinet. They've fallen for 7 years. In London, they've fallen for 10 years. Now, we have to decide how we deal with it. And we decided that it was right to put additional sums of money in to recruit numbers of police officers. And that is why I can tell him that when the next figures are published on recruitment, they will now show police numbers rising. But his position is to cut the very money. Yes, let me read. You see, I know July may be a long time away in policy-making terms, but this is what he said in July. We are concerned that Gordon Brown is setting an unsustainable course for public spending. It will increase in real terms by 3.3% compared to a growth forecast of just over 2%. Then he went on to say, we're making it clear a Conservative government will increase public spending by a smaller proportion than growth in the economy. So we have 3.3% increases, and on the other side, we've got 2%. That means a cut of a third in the extra numbers of police because of the money. So, with the greatest respect to him, he cannot complain about police numbers if he's cutting the money put in order to increase them. And what people will not forget about him and his government is that under them, crime doubled, under this government, crime's falling, whereas when he was a government minister, the numbers of police were falling. We are lifting the numbers of police again.
Order. John Jim. In the light, Prime Minister, of your discussion